Mark Dean, a commercial litigation partner in the London office of Cooley. Cooley is an international law firm which was founded in 1920 in San Francisco, and now operates out of 11 offices in the US, London and also in China. Cooley has almost 300 partners and 900 associates.
Hi, I'm Marianne Russon. I'm a reporter with BBC News Online. BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation, I think probably one of the oldest media organisations in the world. We have a presence in probably most countries in the world.
Stephen Phillipson, Senior Partner, PCB Litigation, London. We practice cross-border work and enforcement of awards, what we call asset recovery, where we're instructed by global organizations to pursue people who have stolen money in a number of cases, concealed their assets, and our job is to trace those assets, freeze them and give the money back.
I'm Luke Harrison, I'm a partner at Debenhams Ottaway LLP. I run our commercial insolvency litigation team, and I'm also Vice Chairman of the Commercial Litigation Association. We're a law firm based in St Albans. Our clients are primarily high net worth individuals and small to medium sized businesses, including entrepreneurs.
I'm Irina Tsvetkova, I'm a Russian lawyer, and I'm also an owner and the founder of the first online service for financing litigation in Russia. We launched about 10 months ago. So we are the first one and the only one on the market, on the Russian market today, who presents such service like a financial litigation.
Patrick Maloney, I'm CFO of Litigation Capital Management. We're a litigation funding company located in Australia. We're one of the pioneers in the industry. We've been around since the beginning of the industry. We're listed on the ASX in Australia.
Cesar Cervera from Rockmont. Armando Betancor, Rockmont Litigation Funding Advisor, based in Madrid, and trying to build a bridge between Europe, US and Spain.
Rockmont is a company who tries to advise claimants to find proper funding around the world.
Erwin Schwartz, Dividex Management. I'm the president and founder of the business. Dividex Management is a registered investment advisor that assists institutional investors in managing their exposures to securities and market manipulation litigation.
Chris Dedman, Invicta Capital Funding. I'm Director of Operations. Invicta are a small case funder that provides finance for litigation in the UK.
My name's Rob Ryan. I'm the principal of the Cardinal Mark Advisory Services for Family Offices. The Cardinal Mark provides advisory services to high net worth individuals and private family foundations who are looking to use litigation in a range of ways. In particular, we're looking to raise a fund for climate purposes, trying to take old philanthropic models and turn them into something that's generating sustainable capital returns for solving social good. We're looking either to fund the funders and or potentially to consider partnership. So what we are able to bring, what my clients are able to bring to the table is capital. And as they think about deploying it, what they want to do is not only think about a way to generate return, but as they're taking a look at some of their investment opportunities, the rigor, the investment discipline that some of these funders are able to apply is really interesting as they go into these things for the long term.
Rocco Peruzzolo, Underwriting Director of Quantum Legal Cost Cover Limited. Quantum provides after-event insurance for commercial disputes for both claimants and also for defendants, and where the party to the litigation would like to transfer the risk that they have in litigating to an insurer and to pass on the exposure not just to adverse cost but also to their own expenses and also for their own solicitor's costs.
So I'm here to get more experience in this area because it's absolutely new market for Russia. So for me it's very interesting to listen foreign colleagues in this area.
It's been a terrific event so far. It's been well attended with some very thoughtful and incisive interjections and speakers alike. It's great to get together in a community like this to meet with people who are like-minded, open-minded and also really sort of focused on the challenges and opportunities presented by litigation funding.
The conference is really so interesting for us. I think a very good experience between the difference in another conference regarding the litigation funding sector. I feel more close to the sector, to know more closely the people, about and his knowledge and his interest in the litigation funding sector, and give us an opportunity to know another company that we didn't expect, or we didn't know anything about the companies in the past.
The event was good. It's my first litigation funding conference that I attended, and I was impressed with the caliber of the speakers and the people I met.
Yeah, it's been a great conference. It's certainly the first one that I've attended. Good mix of people, good mix of funders, professional AT insurers, and interested parties from the legal profession. So yeah, really interesting forum.
Conference is excellent, very, very informative, reconfirms my view that this is part and parcel of my work in the future, that we have had a flood of work over the last 6 months arising out of litigation funding as mutual suspicions that happen when you take the product overseas to other places who haven't come across it are now all disappearing, and we're finding the market is not limited to the US and to the UK and Australia, but it is going to places who are seeking to enforce awards of huge amounts of money against individuals, but want to have partners who share the risk.
Conference, very good speakers, good themes, very good networking, quick networking, very useful. Okay, so that's good.
It's been a fascinating inaugural conference. I think it's led to a lot of the taboos being discussed actively between both funders and practitioners. A lot of the areas where funding is perhaps not happening and it should be, I think, have now been unlocked.
It's quite interesting. As I say, it's a very, very new field, and it's not really something that I have a lot of background in. So it's a good introduction to something that will be worth exploring more.
We've travelled from Australia to London to participate in this conference today, which provided us with invaluable contacts in the industry, and I look forward to seeing you at the next conference in Sydney, Australia.
I think it's a very informative conference. There's been some very helpful insight into the operation of litigation funding from solicitors who have actually used it for their clients, who have experience of having used it on more than one occasion, and so we're able to give valuable insight into the way the funding market operates.
Yeah, it's a range of individuals. I mean, typically the sorts of people that are involved in litigation funding in the UK tend to be at partner level, and these are well represented at the conference today. It tends to be decision makers in law firms, and that's what we've seen today.
We meet people from both sides, funders, lawyers. It's good because it's not only funders, good, not only lawyers. So it's a chance to meet the both sides, and many people are like us that they are lawyers, but also involved in the litigation funding sector. So
meeting partners from other law firms and meeting funders, meeting other people from the insurance side of the industry as well, all of whom have got very different takes on the practice and how litigation funding and other funding mechanisms can really assist litigators like myself in developing our own practices.
I mean, CEOs of funding companies in particular, right? So a lot of my clients are already investing hundreds of millions of dollars in litigation in one form or another, but they're not getting the right returns. So taking a look at some of the models that might be applicable from the litigation funding world are very attractive to a lot of my clients currently. Meeting a lot of interesting attorneys who are taking a wide range of cases. One of the questions, a lot of my clients are based in New York, based in London, but they do have global interests and global reach. Finding lawyers that are going to be able to take interesting cases forward in jurisdictions across the world is really valuable. It's interesting to get different perspectives on what some of the challenges might be and opportunities might be in markets that we haven't considered working on to date.
Mostly these seem to be the people who are funding these hedge funds. They seem to be the people making the key decisions about what they should be spending investors' money on, which litigations they should go with.
I've met some partners in law firms who I work with and hope to work with. I've met some funders who, again, I am working with on a variety of cases where they would like AT insurance for the case that they're funding. So it's those types of producers, whether they're law firms or funders.
Yeah, we're meeting partners of law firms who practice in this, but more importantly, litigation funders who give us great ideas to develop, and also are coming from all over the world. We've seen in Russia and in Holland countries that we are working with greater frequency that weren't, and from Australia. So you've got people who are now embracing the industry, who are realizing that it's going to be very successful, and certainly for my type of work, where there's always been a problem about funding, this is going to go, or it's going to disappear.
I met litigation funders, insurance companies, a whole range of people who are important to our business at Dividex.
I'm meeting here founders, investors, law firms who are at the same time who are the founders, so financial litigation firms.
I have developed something with a foreign funder, which could be the best deal that I will be doing for quite some time. It's at a very early stage. We've exchanged cards, and the next time I'm in that particular country, I'm going to develop that. And as I'm in that country very regularly, and we had Australians coming up and talking because of the work that we do, and also people from the UK who want to work with us on cases that I'm looking to fund. So very productive.
No deals at the moment. We've made a lot of contacts, and hopefully we'll have a lot of follow-up after the session. Hopefully that will lead to some deals for clients to be done in future.
Now, but we offer perfectly our cases to have a little chat in the next days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Not yet, no. I mean, I think it's more about raising awareness. I mean, yes, litigation funding is a hot topic, but it's still quite a lot to learn as far as other people are concerned.
No deals done today. Unfortunately, I didn't come with packets of cases in my pocket, but I think some very good relationships have been made with funders. It's very good to put faces to names, and I think in future our credibility and the credibility of funders in our eyes will have been enhanced by the event.
No business done on the day. This was initially meant to be more of a sort of round the table, get to know a number of people, but a number of follow-ups are already scheduled.
Not yet, but the date's not over.
I can say that I've managed to hook up with people I know, people I'm still hoping that we're going to work together. So it's a very good networking event where you can see a few existing contacts. And strangely enough, there was one who I was planning to meet, and they happened to be here. So actually that was very helpful.
As I see, many of the law firms or founders, they are particularly interested in the Russian market. And at the same time, a lot of Russian clients, they have interests in the disputes in London. So I suppose we can be useful for together for future, maybe.
I did not get any deals done, but I didn't try. I was here to meet people and have resources so that when we need litigation funding, we're able to have more resources to speak with.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one particular thing, talking to another funder who wants to kind of co-invest with the project that we've got. So that will be a conversation that will continue after this, and probably wouldn't have happened had we not met the individual today.
The best idea that I've got is the diversity of the schemes that are available to funders and to lawyers, that they're coming up with creative ideas, particularly one where normally if you have a freezing order in the UK, you've got to put up a bond, and that bond can it can increase significantly in tens of millions, and that can put off a claimant. And a claimant, I've got to tell a claimant at the beginning that this can happen. We've now got insurance policies that funders are offering, which will cut that cost out to an absolute minimum. But there's so many good developing schemes, and we're just getting started in this industry.
Yes. We have very good ideas. I think we can complement and try to do our best, and with the idea of getting in the conference.
Yes, I've got some ideas. For example, how to make the conference. For example, I like your idea about from the perspectives of investors, from perspectives from the solicitors, and maybe you need in the future and the next time invite some clients like claimants or potential claimants in order to present the service and at the same time to allow them to ask their questions and to listen their back feedback from the claimants, maybe who successfully used their financing litigation in their cases.
So actually, I think that maybe we've provided some ideas to some of the funders. There's a couple of funders in the room already today that have principles or an interest in potentially thinking about how social investment can become a part of their business, how they can source deals working with renewable energy companies and sort of opening up new areas of business. That's an area that we think that we might have some further conversations.
It did give me a lot to think about. It's a very new field, so it's basically something that it's not hugely talked about. A little bit has been mentioned about it in, particularly in one of the fields I cover, which is technology, but not a great deal has gone into it, so I think it was quite interesting to hear more about it.
I did get some ideas. I heard about interesting cases that are in formation, and I especially wanted to talk with funders about the exchange of information as they develop cases or as we develop cases that might need funding.
I was particularly struck by some of the comments concerning securities litigation and the way that securities litigation is working in the US. I certainly have a number of colleagues in the US who are practicing law in this particular area, and I know that some of the ideas that were raised in that session will be of interest to them.
I think as a result of the conference, we know how better to present cases to funders. We know what funders are looking for, what's likely to result in a successfully funded case.
I gave away a lot of ideas. It's important to be inside the industry and to take note of what other people in the industry are and their ideas and their perspectives on things.
Given my background as a litigation funder, obviously I have an advantage of having worked with the funding market for a number of years, and that was equally true from when I was an underwriter previously before joining the funding market. So whilst I can't say I've got a takeaway at this point in time, what I have picked up is the way that solicitors really want the funding market to develop beyond just funding case by case. And there was a very strong push for that this afternoon.
The experience is helping to cut out the middleman of the overall networking sessions. It's a great opportunity to get in front of a number of people and to help you refine your pitch, to help you very concisely explain who you are, what you're doing, and the type of things you might be able to offer the other people in the room. So a lot of the people that I met in speed networking later at lunch and other opportunities, we were able to continue the conversation and get to know each other.
The speed networking was a great opportunity to meet people, but also really to decide on what was important to get across your point in 30 seconds or less. Often when you have to distill things into such a short time frame, it can be quite a challenge, but I actually found it a very liberating experience, enabling everyone to speak quite freely about what they did, what their experiences were, because everyone's forced into it and thrown into it in the same way.
It's the first experience when it works in such way, but I think it's reasonable and useful because now I've got maybe 20 business cards from the different people, and so it's quick and useful. I think it's a good idea. I like it. Really. People just introduce to each other and it's like a business card, like an introducing, yeah. So, and then if you have particular interest in this contact, you can make a coffee together in the break. So I think it's nice.
So speed networking was a chance for me to meet 8 or so different funders for 5 minutes or so each, hear a little bit about what their business was and tell them a little bit about mine. And by and large, wind up with a pocket full of business cards.
It was an opportunity to distill what you do very quickly because you're pressured by time, so you get to the important issues really quickly. It was a really valuable exercise.
I would recommend this to anybody involved in litigation at whatever level, not just partners, but associates, senior associates, even paralegals. Funding is the future of litigation finance, and people need to understand what it is.
I definitely think any law firm partner running a commercial litigation team has to attend this event. It's critical that we all know who the funders are and what they're interested in when it comes to funding. I think funders as well, this is a great opportunity to meet with law firm partners, those that really believe in funding and get the best possible opportunity of funding your cases.
I'd recommend this event to people in the litigation funding industry who want to make connections not only with lawyers but also with capital providers.
I'd recommend the event to, of course, litigation funders and lawyers who work with litigation funders, but also to clients and who need litigation funding as part of their business practice, and also to investors, to those who are thinking about investing in litigation funding.
People that want to know something about litigation funding, lawyers that wants to be involved or wants to advise clients about litigation funding, and maybe some investors that can meet an opportunity to invest money, okay, in this market. So
This event interesting for lawyers who are not the founders, but they have a clients and maybe their clients need the money. So for lawyers, it's a new knowledge and new experience how to work with the clients without money. So for lawyers, I think for clients, it's potential claimants, it's very useful. Maybe for founders, maybe, but I don't know exactly. Do the founders need this conference? But anyway.
I think an event such as this is ideal for anybody, from those people that are looking at funding for the very first time to those that are really more advanced in their use of funding, to understand some of the strategic points that they could really deploy in order to get the most out of the funding they've obtained.
I'd recommend the event to anybody else who's advising private clients. I think that there's a number of individuals that I know as family offices and otherwise who may not be aware of the opportunities in third-party litigation funding. So I think there's a lot of space to create some meaningful relationships.
I would recommend this event to, I think, financial directors and CEOs of businesses. Now, obviously you're going to say which businesses. I think any business that has business disputes that happen from time to time, who get locked into just going to the usual solicitor, who have always just been paying for the legal services, have never ever been addressed about how they should think about transferring the risk of litigating to an external stakeholder. So to the extent it could be broadened out to those types of businesses, I think that'd be excellent.
I would recommend this event to insurers and litigators who are involved in commercial work and who have as a problem the funding of that commercial litigation. And I think they'll come out of it very much more educated and very much more positive that they're going to be successful.